Hey guys, Matt here with BleepinJeep. Glad you could join us again. We're going to work on the Holy Grail bed for this video. You might notice that this video is a little bit different, and that's because I'm doing a voiceover. We were really in the groove working on this bed and working on this Holy Grail. I keep wanting to call it a Jaguar or a Dodge, but it's neither. It's the Mad Max Holy Grail. But we were just really in a groove, listening to music, working our butts off, and I decided we were just going to voice over this one. So I'm going to make these 2x6 pieces of metal here. These are 1/8 inch 2x6, and we're going to turn these into the fenders for the flatbed. So I'm cutting some angles out here, and then we're going to bend it up here shortly to turn into the fenders. I thought I'd be able to just bend that by hand, but no, I wasn't strong enough. A ratchet strap will have to do. Now I measured these out on purpose. One is longer than the other, and it's not bent, it's just the way the wide camera angle makes it look. So that long piece is the front part, and that's going to go, the short side's going to go on the back, the long side is going to go on the front right here, but then we're going to cut out for the fender well or the wheel well just like you would on a truck bed, but this outside edge is just the outside fender part. So I had taken a plasma torch and cut this at I think it was a 45-degree angle, or maybe more like a 50-degree angle is what I figured. Getting all these angles to match up in the long run was a lot harder than I had anticipated, so I've got an angle finder out. I'm just going to weld this up at exactly 50 degrees. And we're just going to tack it for now, make sure everything fits good before we weld it up permanently. Use the ratchet strap on the other side to get the same angle. Close enough. Alright, perfect. 50 degrees on either side. We can take the ratchet straps off and mock this up into place. I had to use these 4x4 posts to kind of hold everything in place, and that looks pretty darn good. Look at that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. There's quite a bit of a gap here because whenever I cut those wedges out, they were a little bit big, but we'll take care of that later, no big deal. So now that I've got those mocked into place, we need to cut out the wheel well area. So I'm going to mark that right along the edge, and that wheel well is going to sit just along the inside edge of that 2x6. I'll use a square to make sure everything's straight, and then we're going to cut that out. This torch comes in handy, but I did get a metal saw that probably would have worked really well here too, although it's hard to plunge into something that doesn't have an edge on it with that metal saw. It would be really great, except it has a guard on it, and there's no way to hold the guard up. Say hello to my little friend. Alright. Alright, so here's what it looks like at this point. And now we have to make some steel plates for the inside part of that fender, but for now I'm just going to tack this in place, make sure it's straight, make sure it's level. Of course the car probably isn't level, but you want to make sure that this is level with the car anyway. In the meantime, Josh is over here smoothing the paint out. I'm going to weld that gap, or you can see how that's off a little bit, so I'm going to pull that tight before I tack it in place. Measure it here and there. You can see that's off a little bit, so we're just going to stretch this a little. That's why I only tacked the insides. Still got a little bit of wiggle room. There we go. That should hold it for now. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And this thing will come together pretty quick here. You guys probably don't know this, but whenever we play music in the shop, we were just jamming out. That's why we had to put all that music over the top of that, because when we're playing music in the shop, we can't record any of that because YouTube won't allow it. And if we do, we have to cover that up. So a lot of times when you're watching YouTubers, they are working all day without ever listening to any music. Can you believe that? It's crazy. Alright, so it's a muddy mess. It's been raining outside. My tractor is getting all muddy, but what I'm trying to do is get this bed out from the woods over here, because we're trying to use every bit of steel that we can to save on the budget. So if you remember, we only have $20,000 budget for this build, and this is the bed, or what's left of it, that came with that Dodge truck. So I'm going to reuse a lot of this steel to save on the budget. Look at all that mud. Ugh. So this diamond plate is pretty nice. It's probably 1/8 inch diamond plate that came off of this thing, and we are repurposing a lot of it for this bed. So I made these templates out of my CAD design, cardboard aided design. And so all I need to do is now trace everything out. That's why I was blowing everything off, because it's a little bit hard to write in pen on wet surfaces. But these are all the pieces that I need to make the fender wells. Here's that saw I was telling you about. This thing is awesome, although it's very loud. You can see my pink earmuffs there. But comes in really handy. The only negative about this thing is that, yeah, right there, it wasn't quite powerful enough and it jammed up and it tripped the breaker. But that's not even what I was going to say about the negative aspect of this thing. The negative of this saw is that it's got a guard on it that protects the blade. There's nothing tripped there, but I did find it up here. It actually tripped that roll cord right there. I don't know if you can see the guard on this thing, but there's no way to hold it up, and if you do try to hold it up with your hand, your hand is very close to the saw blade, and it doesn't really hinder it until you try to go in from the side, like at a acute angle, or if you try to just plunge directly in. You can't really hold that plastic guard. Should I get rid of the guard? What do you guys think? I don't know, it seems kind of dangerous to get rid of the guard, but let me know if you got any suggestions or solutions for that thing. I'm going to finish off some of these cuts with the plasma torch because it wasn't quite deep enough. And then I had a couple angles that I needed to get that the saw couldn't get. Alright, here's all the pieces that I came up with. That's the top, the side, and the two edges of the wheel well. Now let's get this back out of here. I think that tractor was one of the handiest purchases I ever made. It's come in handy. I pretty much use it every day. I don't know how I got along without it before. Alright, I gotta go eat some dinner. It's getting really late, so I'm gonna shut down the shop, and we'll be right back in just a minute. Good night. Welcome back, guys. It's a brand new, beautiful, sunny day. Oh, I mean, rainy day. But that's alright. We're gonna sweep up and get the shop ready to do some work today. Oh man, we were jamming out again. You guys missed all those great songs. It's kind of nice to be able to work and listen to music every once in a while. So let me know what you guys think, if you're okay with some of these voiceover videos here and there, so that we can listen to music while we work. So Josh is helping me out here. We're going to tack everything in place, make sure I did my measurements correctly. Remember, measure once, cut twice. That's my motto anyway. So we're going to tack these up, and it's lunchtime. It's the lunch lady. She's got voiceover requirements for us too.
Pork chops. Pork chops.
We've got salad. We've got potatoes. That looks delicious. Thank you, lunch lady. Alright, back to work. We have these top plates going on, and that is going to finish everything off for the wheel wells. Look how cool that looks now. There are a couple of gaps there that I just used some rod to fill in. Those gaps. And we'll weld the gap. That thing is looking sharp, guys. What do you guys think? Was that an improvement or what? In the next video, we're going to cap off the top. We're going to put a window in there. We're going to cap off those wheel wells. And this thing is going to start looking really sharp. We'll see you guys in the next one.